जय राधा माधवा कुंज बिहारी जय राधा माधवा कुंज बिहारी जय गोपी जन वल्लभा गिरिवर धारी जय गोपी जन वल्लभा गिरिवर धारी यशोदानंदन ब्रज जन रंजन यशोदानंदन ब्रज जन रंजन यमुना तीरा वनचारी यमुना तीरा वनचारी जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी जय ओम विष्णुपाद परमहंस प्रजकाचार्य अष्टोत्तर सत श्रीमद डिवाइन ग्रेस अभय चरण अरविंद भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी श्रीला प्रभुपाद की इस्कॉन बीबीटी फाउंडर आचार्य श्रीला प्रभुपाद की जय ओम विष्णुपाद परमहंस प्रजकाचार्य अष्टोत्तर सत श्रीमद डिवाइन ग्रेस श्रीला भक्ति सिद्धांत सच ठाकुर को स्वामी महाराज श्रीला प्रभुपाद की अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की नामाचार्य हरिदास ठाकुर की प्रेम से बोलो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद की श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण गोप गोपीनाथ राधा कुंड श्याम कुंड गिरी गोवर्धन की श्री श्री जगन्नाथ बलदेव सुभद्रा महारानी की पुरुषोत्तम क्षेत्र जगन्नाथपुरी धाम की वृंदावन धाम मथुरा धाम की जय मायापुर नवदीप धाम की गंगा माई की जय यमुना माई की जय तुलसी देवी की जय भक्ति देवी की अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की ऑल ग्लोरीज टू असेंबल डिवोटीज ऑल ग्लोरीज टू असेंबल डिवोटीज ऑल ग्लोरीज टू असेंबल डिवोटीज ऑल ग्लोरीज टू श्री श्री गुरु एंड श्री गौरंग श्रील प्रभुपाद। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय Hare Krishna. So we are reading from Canto 7 of Srimad Bhagavatam, Chapter 9, Text 29. Mat prana rakshanam anant pitur vadhas cha. What is the meter? Govindam? Okay. Can you chant through there?
Mat prana rakshanam ananta patuvadascha.
Mat prana rakshanam ananta piturvadascha. Manye. स्वभृत्य
Vritya.
ऋषि
Rishi.
वाक्यम
Vakyam.
ऋतम
Ritam.
विधातुम
Vidhatum.
मन्ने स्वभृत्य ऋषि वाक्यम ऋतम विधातुम खड्गम प्रग्रहया यत् अवोकद असद विधित्सुस खड्गम प्रग्रहया यद अवोचद असद विधित्सुस त्वम ईश्वरो मद अपरो वतु कम हरामि त्वम ईश्वरो मद अपरो वतु कम हरामि मत्प्राण रक्षणमनंत पितुर्वधश्च मन्ये स्वभृत्य ऋषिवाक्यमृतं विधातुम् खड्गं प्रगृह्य यद अवोचद असद विधित्सुस् त्वम ईश्वरो मदपरो वतु कम हरामि मत्प्राण रक्षणम अनंत पितुर्वधश्च मन्ये स्वभृत्य ऋषिवाक्यमृतं विधातुम् खड्गं प्रगृह्य यद अवोचद असद विधित्सुस् त्वम ईश्वरो मदपरो वटु कम हरामि मत्प्राण रक्षणम अनंत पितुर्वधश्च मन्ये स्वभृत्य ऋषिवाक्यमृतं विधातुम् खड्गं प्रगृह्य यद अवोचद असद विधित्सुस् त्वाम ईश्वरो मदपरो वतु कम हरामि प्राण रक्षणम मन्ये स्वभृत्य ऋषिवाक्यमृतं विधातुम् प्राण रक्षणम अनंत पितुर्वधश्च अबदपरो वटुकम हरामि मत्प्राण रक्षणम तद्विदुर्च मत्प्राण रक्षणम अनंत पितुर्वधश्च मन्ये स्वभृत्य ऋषिवाक्यमृतं विधातुम् खड्गं प्रगृह्य यद अवोचद असद विधित्सुस् त्वमीश्वरो मदपरो वटु कम हरामि. Anyone online? You want to?
Mat pranarakshanam anantapiturvadascha.
Pranashanam nantaviturvadascha.
Manye svavritya rishi vakyam ritam vidatum.
Manne svabhritya rishivakyam ritam vidatum.
Kadgam pragya yad abochat asad viditsus. Tvam ishvaro madaparo vatukam harami.
Mishvaro madaparmo vartukam haram. Yes, Govardhan Prabhu. Go ahead. Okay. Word to word. Mat prana rakshanam. Saving my life. Ananta. O unlimited one. Reservoir of unlimited transcendental qualities. Pitu of my father. Vadacha and killing. Manne I consider. Swabhritya of your unalloyed servants. Rishi Vakyam and the words of the great saint Narada. Ritam, true. Vidhatum, to prove. Khadgam, sword. Pragriya, taking in hand. Yat, since. Avochat, my father said. Asat viditsu, desiring to act very impiously. Tvam, you. Ishvara, any supreme controller. Madaparaha, other than me. Avatu, let him save. Come, your head. Harami, I shall now separate. Translation by His Divine Grace Abhay Charan Arvind Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki jai. My Lord, O unlimited reservoir of transcendental qualities, you have killed my father Hiraṇyakaśipu. We can all repeat. My Lord, O unlimited reservoir of transcendental qualities, you have killed my father Hiraṇyakaśipu and saved me from his sword. He had said very angrily, if there is any supreme controller other than me, let him save you. I shall now sever your head from your body. Therefore I think, close quote, okay, close quote. Therefore I think that both in saving me and in killing him, you have acted just to prove true the words of your devotee. There is no other cause. Purport. In Bhagavad Gita, chapter 9, text 29, the Lord says, Sammoham sarva bhuteshu name dveshyasti na priya ye bhajanti tumam bhaktya maite teshu chapi aham. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is undoubtedly equal to everyone. He has no friend and no enemy. But as one desires benefits from the Lord is very pleased to award them. The lower and higher positions of different living entities are due to their desires. For the Lord, being equal to all, fulfills everyone's desires. The killing of Hiraṇyakaśipu and saving of Prahlāda Maharaj also strictly followed this law of the Supreme Controller's activities. When Prahlāda's mother, Hiraṇyakashipu's wife, Kayadu, was under the protection of Narada, she prayed for the protection of her son from the enemy. And Narada Muni gave assurance that Prahlāda Maharaj would always be saved from the enemy's hands. Thus, when Hiraṇyakashipu was going to kill Prahlāda Maharaj, the Lord saved Prahlāda to fulfill his promise in Bhagavad Gita, Kaunteya prati janehi name bhaktya pranashyati, and to prove true the words of Narada. The Lord can fulfill many purposes through one action. Thus, the killing of Hiraṇyakashipu and the saving of Prahlāda were enacted simultaneously to prove the truthfulness of the Lord's devotee and the fidelity of the Lord himself to his own purpose. The Lord acts only to satisfy the desires of his devotees. Otherwise, he has nothing to do. As confirmed in the Vedic language, natasya karyam karanam cha vidyate. The Lord has nothing to do personally, for everything is done through his different energy. Parashya shaktir vividhaiva shruyate. The Lord has multifarious energies through which everything is done. Thus, when he personally does something, it is only to satisfy his devotee. The Lord is known as Bhakta Vatsal because he very much favors his devoted servant. Om Ajnantimirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagala Raghunathan Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakha Vitamsya He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Brindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Vaivcha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Iti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaur Bhakta Brinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. So, thank you all for joining today morning Bhagavatam class. It was very easy for me to prepare for this class because this particular text, 29 text, there is a lecture by Srila Prabhupada on this specific text. And there is this website, ISKCON Desire Tree. What they have done is they have put all the words of Srila Prabhupada in a PowerPoint, so you can also read it, what he's speaking. And it's a 25-30 minute class. So I heard that, and then probably I'll speak from that, whatever Srila Prabhupada is speaking. So thank you, Srila Prabhupada, for, giving us so many classes and explaining, these transcendental translations and purports that you have given us. So, how Srila Prabhupada begins this class is explaining that Prahlāda Maharaj never addressed his father Hiraṇyakaśipu as father before. You might have heard that before. He has said, "Oh, best among the demons," but he never addressed him as father. And the reason was that he was a demon and he was alive, so he never addressed him father. So once he is dead, once Nrsimhadev killed him, he addressed him first time as father. If you can see in this text, there is a word called Pitur. Pitur means father, of my father. And why he addressed him as father now? Because when the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Nrsimhadev, when he killed Hiraṇyakaśipu, he got liberated to the impersonal Brahman. Because whoever the Lord kills, the demons, so there is a verse in other scriptures that these monists and demons, they go to the impersonal Brahman, right? Which is not the highest destination, obviously, because beyond that there is Vaikuntha planets. There are a lot of Vaikuntha planets, and also Golok Vrindavan is there. So that is the reason he is addressing him as Father here. And in these different planetary, setting that are there, we are on the Earth planet. You have Bhulok, Bhuvarlok, Maharlok, and different, planetary systems are there. The highest planet is the Golok Vrindavan, where Krishna is, playing with all his cowherd friends. He's running into the forest. So, His Grace Dravida Prabhu yesterday was sharing so beautiful poetries about Krishna, running in the forest of Vrindavan, and he has tucked his flute on his right side, and there is Balram with him, and they are running and they are enjoying all the green pastures, the meadows, and Dravida Prabhu has so intricately, designed these poetries, not only using dictionary, not only using thesaurus, but using rhyming dictionaries.
Giving all my secrets away.
Huh?
Giving all my secrets away.
So it was so amazing. So Krishna is, enchanting everybody's heart in Vrindavan, in Golok Vrindavan. So much of personal exchange. He's playing his flute just like this. And he's attracting the hearts of all these devotees, which is absent in the impersonal Brahma Jyoti. There is no exchange of love and devotion in that realm. But in Golok Vrindavan, Krishna is playing the flute, something like this. Haribol. So this only happens in Golok Vrindavan planet, and this temple is not different than Golok Vrindavan. We have Shri Radha Giridhari, we have all the devotees here. So these demons and impersonalists, they cannot enter into the Vaikuntha planets. And because they cannot enter into the Vaikuntha planets, what happens is they fall down again and again and again. And therefore, in Srimad Bhagavatam, it is said, Ada means the material world. They fall down into the material world. And those who are Mayavadis, they are very, very strict. They do a lot of severe austerities in their life. And their lifestyle is very, very strict and severe. They have a lot of penances and austerities. And there is no security that they will actually go to the Brahma Jyoti in that way also. But our path, what Srila Prabhupada has given us, that once we go there, we do not come back again. Yad Gadvana Nivartante. Whenever we go to that planet, nobody comes back from that planet. So Bhutva Praliyate. In other planets, you have to come back. And all of it depends on who you worship. Like in the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says that if you worship the ancestors, you go to the planet of ancestors. If you worship the demigods, you go to the planet of demigods. And if you worship me, then you will come to me. Yeah, and Bhutas and Pretas, yes. If you worship the ghost, then you go to the planet of the ghosts. Yes. So, I hope nobody is praying the ghosts here. So, yes. So Prahlāda Maharaj says here that Mat Prana Rakshanam Ananta Pitur Vadhascha. So there are two things that are happening when Krishna incarnates. What are the two things? Krishna does two things. One is Paritranaya Sadhunam. One is he takes care of the devotees. And other is Vinashaya Dushkatam. He comes to annihilate or kill the demons. Right? But there is one more thing which is happening. Yes, Prabhu. Yes, Dharam Sansthapanarthaya. That is there. And apart from that also there is one thing that is happening. Krishna also comes to prove the words of his devotees true. Right? That is also there. So let's start from the beginning. That Krishna comes to a kill, vinashaya dushkritam, but does Krishna really comes to kill? Because he has so many multifarious energies that he can kill through them. He can give a heart attack, he can send a tsunami, he can do earthquake, so many different things. Because Maya Devi or Durga Devi is the superintendent of this material world. She can handle all that job for Krishna. Suppose there is a CEO of a company, he doesn't necessarily has to directly fire anybody. He can just tell the directors and the managers, okay, just fire the people who are probably not performing well. So he doesn't have to really do all those things. So Krishna is like the CEO. So Durga Devi is the superintendent. I was hearing Srila Prabhupada's another lecture and he was saying, Durga we know means fort also. Durg means fort. And nobody, it's like a prison house. Nobody wants to go in the jail or in a prison. Durga, go. To go, yeah. Durga, ga means to go, yes. Impossible. Impossible to go, yeah. So that was the other meaning I was going to say. Yes, thank you, Prabhu. It is impossible to go. So that is Durga. Thank you, Prabhu, for telling that. And Durga Devi understands what the Lord wants. And therefore, in the Brahma Samhita also, there is a reference that comes of Durga Devi. In the Brahma Samhita, chapter 5, text 44, it says, Shrishti sthiti pralaya sadhana shaktir eka chaye vayasya bhuvanani vibharti durga govindamadi purusham tamaham bhajami. Huh? What is that? Oh, I see. I see. Chaiva, yes. Chaya? Like a shadow. Okay, Chayeva means she's reflecting Krishna's word, whatever his instructions are. So it is not the business of the Lord to come to this botheration. But then why Lord Nrsimhadev appeared? If it is not the botheration of Krishna, still he appeared. Why did he appear? He appeared because of only one business, and that business is mat prana rakshanam, to protect his devotee. Swabhritya rishi vakyam ritam vidhatum. Swabhritya, Bhritya means the servant. And who's the servant here? So you can see two servants are there. One is Prahlāda Maharaj. Who's the other servant? Brahma. Because Brahma promised something. Brahma gave the benediction to Hiraṇyakaśipu, right? Brahma is the Bhritya or the servant of Krishna. So he did something obnoxious by offering all the benedictions to Hiraṇyakaśipu. And because Hiraṇyakaśipu was very cunning materialist, and first of all he asked for that I want to become immortal. And then he learned that even Brahma cannot give me that benediction. Then he started asking all these intelligent, benedictions, like a diplomat. He started asking that. And he basically wanted to cheat Brahmaji. So we see that there are a lot of cheaters in this world also. They want to cheat other persons. This is one of the shortcomings that we have in this material world. We have the propensity to cheat. We have imperfect senses, right? And so these are the things which basically stop us from spiritual progress. And then if you see that there is an example of a dog who's holding a bone, he looks at the water, his reflection, and he thinks that, oh, I should take that bone, and he loses his own bone also. So that is what is happening. People are trying to cheat others, but they are actually losing whatever they have. So, but Krishna is the biggest cheater, right? In the Bhagavad Gita also it is there. Among cheats, Krishna is the biggest cheater. So we cannot cheat Krishna because Krishna is Sarvasya chaham hridesani vishto matta smritirjnanam apohanam cha vedescha sarve rahameva vedyo vedanta kritveda videva chaham. Krishna is in the heart. He knows everything what we are thinking, who we are going to cheat. So Hiraṇyakaśipu thought that he is very intelligent and he wanted to cheat Krishna, but actually he was cheated himself. So therefore this line is there in this text, tad bhritya rishi vakyam ritam vidhatum. Rishi Vakya means that whatever a devotee, Rishi Vakyam, a devotee's word, Vakya means whatever words he is speaking, Krishna upholds those words. Krishna doesn't let those words go in vain. In the Bhagavad Gita also Krishna tells Arjuna, Kaunteya pratijanihi name bhaktya pranashyati. That my dear Arjuna, declare boldly that my devotee never perishes. So even if the devotee says something wrongly, Krishna is so merciful. Even wrongly, he doesn't say, oh, it was a mistake. He said, no, still Krishna will fulfill. Even if the devotee says something wrongly, he will fulfill that. Krishna says, okay, my servant has promised it, let me fulfill it. So therefore, it is said that Tava Bhritya Parshava. So the servant of Krishna is better than serving Krishna directly. Because if the servant promises something, then Krishna has to do that. If the servant of Krishna, Guru says that, I will take him to Krishna Loka, then Krishna has to fulfill the desire. Then you will go to Krishna Loka. So therefore, in the morning we pray, Yasya prasadat bhagavat prasado. By the mercy of the Guru, we will get the mercy of Bhagavan, Krishna. So, our philosophy is to please the servant of God. Tad bhritya, bhrittasya bhritya. The servant of the Lord. And therefore Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also says, Gopi bharte or pad kamale or das anudas. We are the servant and servant of the Lord, like 7 times like that. So that is our success of our life. So here we see in this verse, Swabhritya Rishi Vakyam Ritam Vidhatum. So Brahma gave the benediction to Hiraṇyakaśipu. Although it was wrong, it was probably not correct. But he asked that, my dear sir, give me the benediction. Hiraṇyakaśipu is asking Brahmaji that, my dear sir, give me a benediction. I will not die, at night. And Brahmaji said, yes, that's all right. He said, give me benediction that I will not die during the day. All right. Not die in the land given. All right. Not die in the water. All right. Not die with any weapon. That's all right. And no animal can kill me. That's all right. No man can kill me. That is also all right. So he thought that I am secure and death cannot come to me. That's what Hiraṇyakaśipu thought. But Krishna is so intelligent, that he killed him not at the night, not in the day. He killed him in the evening. He didn't kill him in the sky or the land. He killed him on his lap. He didn't kill him with a weapon or animal. He killed with his nails. So he kept everything intact, whatever benediction was given by Brahma. So Krishna kept the words of his devotee intact. Ritam Vidhatum. And later Krishna, when Nrsimhadev appeared, he chastised also Brahma. Why do you keep giving these, benedictions? And in future, don't give me these benedictions. Don't give me these botherations. So, but still, he kept his servant's promise intact. So that is the reason that Nrsimhadev appeared. Although he can do it through his multifarious energies, Vividhaiva Shruyate, but still he came to keep the words of his devotee intact. And Krishna is doing all these things together, all these balls he is juggling together. He is doing Paritranaya Sadhunam, he is doing Vinashaya Dushkritam, and he is also doing Bhritya Vakyam, the words of his servant proving to be true. He is doing all these things. But when we try to juggle so many things, whether it's family, finances, health, somewhere or the other we miss it. So that's why Krishna is all powerful. We cannot do that. So when Hiraṇyakaśipu told Prahlāda Maharaj that I will kill you, asad vidhatum, that I shall kill you, then Prahlāda Maharaj knew that Krishna will protect him, Nrsimhadev will protect him, and nobody can do anything. He had full faith. Because in the previous verses, there is a verse, Balasya neha sharanam pitaro. It says that the parents cannot protect the child, or the physician or the medicine cannot protect a patient, or the boat cannot protect a drowning man in the ocean, unless it is sanctioned by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. There are so many multi-millionaires and billionaires, they are taking medicines and have the best physicians, but still people are getting diseased, they are dying, So there are so many calculations that we can do, but unless it is sanctioned by the Lord, we cannot be saved. So Prahlāda Maharaj knew it, that unless Krishna desires, one cannot kill him. So that is the faith that he had. In Chaitanya Charitamrita it is there, Rakhe Krishna mare Krishna Rakhe ke. If Krishna wants to protect me, then who can kill me? And if Krishna wants to kill me, who can save me? So that is the faith that he had. And Srila Prabhupada mentions that, the same morning when he gave the lecture, he said that I met with so many scientists and they are falsely proud and challenging that there is no God and everything is demoniac, this and that. So he was sharing that. I was also talking to one of my friend, he's a PhD from Carnegie Mellon University, and he said, what is the proof that Mahabharata and Ramayana actually happened? Because he's a PhD, he wanted he said, can you give me a paper, a published paper which is presented in a conference? I said, okay, I'll give it to you. Then I reached out to Krishna Kshetra Maharaj. He does a lot of research in this area. And then he sent me some published papers which are presented in conferences by Vishwa Adhuri. So there are a lot of devotees who are working on scientific, aspect of that. And I presented this paper to him. And, he said, I cannot read this paper. You read it and explain to me. I said, okay, I can do that. So yeah, in this Kali Yuga, the demoniac spirit is very, very prominent and everybody is thinking that I am God. And therefore Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gave the mercy to cure all these madmen. What he's saying? He's saying, Pishachi paile yena mati channa hai. Mayara grasta jivera hai se das uday. So Pishachi means ghost haunted. A man is ghost haunted and he speaks all the nonsense. So in this age of Kali Yuga, people are mostly like that. They speak all nonsense. So we should be careful not to accept their proposal. Mukund Charan Prabhu was telling in Krishna Kids that he was relating gardening to spirituality very beautifully. He was telling that, these weeds, when you do garden, these weeds are all these different anarthas that are there, bad association and so many different things. We may think that we are actually progressing in bhakti, but we are not. He was showing a weed which actually looked like a plant, actual plant, because the weed has basically camouflaged, or maybe not camouflaged, but it tried to disguise itself as a real plant just to survive. So, yeah, it's a nasty plant. So we should be very careful of all these things. So we should stick to Krishna consciousness and accept what Krishna is saying and reject everything else. And then we will be saved. So that is the true success of our spiritual life. And we are so fortunate. Yesterday, Dravida Prabhu has been teaching the poetry to the kids. I was amazed at his depth. He's telling poetry not only from Srimad Bhagavatam, from Rupa Goswami as Chandas. What is that, Chanda Prabhu? Tribhangi Chanda. I never heard of that. I mean, so deep, intense knowledge, we have with us, the devotees here. It's such a beautiful poetry. It can actually spark that love within your heart for Krishna. It's so amazing. And we also got the opportunity to meet Mother Kanchan Bala. She was sharing that she was 16 years old when she got to meet Srila Prabhupada and stayed at the temple in New York. And Dravida Prabhu showed a beautiful photograph where she's like dancing. And Madhusudan Prabhu is there, and so amazing. Would you like to speak something, Prabhu, on that?
Well, just a reminding of... She actually wrote a book.
Yeah.
Left. She and her daughter put together a book. They have, letters that he wrote and kinds of things like that. But she wrote a story of how she came. And she started writing to Prabhupada, And she said, I'm just 16 years old, but I'm staying at home. And Prabhupada wrote back and said, I'm very glad to hear that you're staying at home. In other words, because that was the time, the 60s, when all kinds of stuff was going out. Kids were wandering around. I think, did she mention about the be-ins? I think every week in the Central Park. Because I used to go to those sometimes, and it was just a lot of, people gathering and music playing here, and they're smoking, dope over there, but it was a very a typical activity. It was happening on the West Coast, especially in San Francisco, Golden Gate Park. You've seen that picture. Prabhupada chanting out there with the devotees. They brought the big Jagannath deity out. Have you ever seen that?
Yes.
So they didn't bring the deity out to the park, but he was standing there. But that was the scene, the happening. But the fact that she was staying at home, she wasn't getting involved in all that. As a 16-year-old girl, Prabhupada was happy to hear that. And, he agreed to initiate her, after she was, 18, 19 years old. Mm. So she'd been a devotee all that time, almost 60 years. But when the Vyasa Puja comes around, and she always writes some incredible offerings, wow. and she reads. I always, I'd manage it in the morning, and read it. It's just so moving because she always has some remembrance of some personal interaction with Prabhupada. She's very fortunate to have her in the community.
Yes.
But I wanted to mention one thing.
Yes.
About you. I think you quoted this. Mare Krishna Rakhe Ke Rakhe Krishna Mare Ke.
Yes, it's very good.
I don't know if you have this account of Sharaba. I have. I brought it up. I have it actually. I can share it with you before you leave because you probably have. What are they called? With an Apple thing, you can just share, right?
Share, yes.
So anyway, I'm not going to tell the whole story, but he's nicely serving now in Washington as a Pujari. He's been there for some years. And he was here for some time. And he told a story. He's from the same part of the world that Mahatattva is, that the Maharaj is now. And he was growing up, and devotees had distributed books in that area, so he was exposed to that, and he got Bhagavad Gita and started reading it. And he had graduated high school, but the standard thing is to go into the army, but he wasn't really so eager to do that, So anyway, he decided that he needed to be in a temple. He wanted to surrender, but there's no temple in Croatia. No temple in Serbia, where he was, but in Croatia there was a temple. And that's where I think Mahatattva was, before he came here. So he decided, he wanted to go, but they said, no, there's a war going on. In the early 90s, there was this war in former Yugoslavia, Serbia and Croatia and Bosnia and all this. It's horrible. So they said, no, it's too dangerous. But he said, so he had faith in that saying, Mare Krishna Rakhe Ke, and he was constantly chanting. He had a backpack, he had a Gita in there, he has beads, and he was determined to go, so he just took off. And he described, I won't go into all detail, but it was horrific. The war was going on. He came across a village. Everything was burned down. I was just reading a little bit of it. All the houses were burned down. But then he came upon a partially burned barn, and there was a cow and its calf, and they were crying, because there was nothing to eat. It was all this craziness. So he was wondering, what can I do? What can I do? So he called out, "Is anyone there?" And then he heard this click, click. Where you cocked the gun, they had all these guns, So who are you? A spirit soul, he said. And all this time, he's chanting, either in his mind or he's chanting. He has faith in this. So finally, actually the first thing was, they started shooting, and he started running, and somehow or other they didn't hit him. That itself was the first miracle. So again, he walks, and then he hears the click, click again, and they say, Who are you? So they were, and they come out and they're ready, pointing the guns at him, to the king. So anyway, it ends up that these were just the two soldiers. Then there was the commander who came out, So he said, get on the ground, face down. So he's on the ground, he's chanting, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Hare. He's got his backpack on. And the guy's pointing his gun at him, and he pulls the trigger, point blank. Oh. Somehow it hits something in the backpack, and doesn't strike his body, goes to the ground, hits a rock, and just barely misses one of the other soldiers, Wow. And he said, what are you doing? They start arguing, you almost killed me, like that. So they decide to interrogate him, So they ask him questions, where are you from, and so forth. So he spoke honestly. He had his papers, but unfortunately the photograph on there didn't resemble him because he hadn't shaved up, So they said, this doesn't look like you, So he didn't really have identification papers proper. So anyway, the final thing is what they decided, suddenly he said after some time he's talking and they all became friendly because they realized, he wasn't really an enemy or anything like that. Then there was one guy. This is like a group of them, and they were like terrorists. They would go out with knives and assassinate people, So the guy came. They kept him in a cell. He was locked up. He was comfortable. So the guy comes there and he says, "I heard you telling all your story, who you were, And one of them sounded like a Serbian name, your aunt or something like that. So he pulled out his big knife, I'm going to take care of you. I've killed a lot of people, So Sharaba, he's chanting. He's like, he's not freaking out. So he pulls out a picture. He's got one of the paintings of Krishna sitting on the rock or something, like beautiful. He says, this is God. And the guy says, oh, she's so beautiful. You can get
She's
but he was completely disarmed, Yeah. Somehow it worked on him and he wasn't threatening anymore. So the next morning they said, okay, we're going to drive you to Croatia, or at least the border now. We have to go that way, so get in the car. He was in the back seat. And of course, there's all these checkpoints. There's a war, And whenever the checkpoint comes, and you have to show your papers and tell what you do, So they came to the first checkpoint, and Sherba's in the back seat, chanting Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. And the guys have proper papers, And so they think, what's going to happen with Sherba in the back? He doesn't have proper papers. He doesn't look like it. The guy didn't even see him. It's almost like he couldn't see him in the back, and they just said, and the guys were feeling, how did this happen? The next checkpoint, they didn't even stop them. He just went right through. It's all miraculous. It's the 100 miracles. Finally, the guys are just okay. They come to not the exact border, just very short distance between the border, and they dropped him off there, maybe a couple of miles. So he was home free. So anyway, he goes into a park. He hadn't eaten anything, and he bought some fruit, and he puts it on a bench and pictures, and he's offering it, By this time, he feels, I'm invincible. I just need to chant, So two cops come, and they're looking at him and say, do you mind? I'm making an offering now. Please wait, okay? He said to the cops. And because of his aura or something, they don't do anything. So he offers the fruit, He has the fruit. Then they say, show us your papers. He shows them the paper. It doesn't look like him. He said, okay, we were arresting you. We were sending him back where you came from. So in his mind, he's saying, well, Krishna, you really want me to send me all the way back to where I came from? If that's what you want, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna. So they bring him back to the last checkpoint, which they had passed through. And they drop him off there, and the police say to the guard, you say, okay, next transport or whatever that's going the other way, you put him on it and send him back to such and such village, okay? So he agrees, okay. So he's sitting there, he's got the offered fruit, he's waiting. So he says, well, let me offer this guy some fruit. Maha, prasad, So he offers him some prasadam, and the guy softens up, and he sees, Sharba must have had some kind of glow by this time because he's chanting all the time, So he says, all right, we're not going to send you back there. You just go toward, So it happened that right on the border of Croatia where he's going, one of his relatives had a house. Oh. I don't think he knew that, but anyway, he went there. They were able to get him proper papers so he could get into Croatia from Serbia. And he found the temple and he joined them. It's quite a story. I'll send you it. And it's, he wrote it, Mahatattva got into it, also I edited it, so it reads pretty well.
Sure.
He came here, on his way to Hawaii. They gave him a little vacation, so he came here and he told the story in a class. I was giving class, he was sitting right next to me, and then he told the story.
Wow. Very bold,
Very
wonderful.
faith building, to see somebody like this when these miracles happen,
Correct.
And you say, wow, Krishna's there helping protecting devotees.
Thank you for sharing that, Drupada Prabhu. Anyone has any comments or anything, questions?
Hare Krishna.
Yes, Vijay Krishna Prabhu, Hare Krishna.
I can wait if Temple Room devotee would like to go first.
Yeah, you can go ahead.
Yes, my question is because I'm confused with the purport. In the purport, Srila Prabhupada is saying that God has nothing to do. The quote is, quote, the Lord acts only to satisfy the desires of his devotees. Otherwise, he has nothing to do, unquote. But then, what I see is that when he appeared to protect Prahlāda Maharaj, he did fight against Hiraṇyakaśipu. I think it took days until Hiraṇyakaśipu became killed, no? It was not immediately. It was a long fight.
I don't think it was that long. We'll research it, but that's neither here nor there. Anyway, I got the answer to your puzzle about he has nothing to do. I was going to mention it. It's amazing. This is another miracle, because I was going to share this about that, because Prabhupada always says he has nothing to do. Can I answer it, Vijay?
Of course.
Okay. So here's the story. You got to realize, you always have to realize, English is Prabhupada's second language, And even in the Bhagavatam, first canto, when he says that, I'm trying to write this, but it will surely fail because English, English is but I'm going to do it anyway because Tat Bhagavasargo Janataga Viplavo. There's a verse that says even if imperfectly composed, it'll still be relished by the devotees. It'll have an impact, So, otherwise, he would have stopped writing or not. So anyway, here's one of the little, strange things about the English language. I realized this after reading the same thing and wondering, does this probably means he has nothing to do? It's not that he has nothing to do. He doesn't have to do anything. You see the difference? He doesn't have to do anything. Rather, just by his will, his agents, his expansions, the energies will do it. But he has so many things to do. If he's not killing the demons, or not pregnant, he has to go out with the cows, and he meets Radharani, and there's a million things to do. Just like a parent will tell his kid, the kid is just sitting on the floor, doing nothing, basically just wasting time. So Jimmy, don't you have anything to do? We bought you all those toys and everything. You can go. In other words, he's just not doing anything. But it's different. When you have to do something, means that some higher authority is giving you a duty to perform.
Yes.
We have to do so many things just to take care of the body. We're forced to do things. Krishna is not forced to do anything. He's completely independent. But he still has so many things to do because he creates situations where he will interact with his devotees in the spiritual world, and he'll come and protect us. He wants to do it. So that's the difference. He doesn't have to do anything, but always he says doesn't have anything to do. Nantasya karyam karanam cha vidyate. Karya is a duty. He has no duty. Duty is imposed by a higher authority. That's the idea. Does that make sense, Prabhu?
Yes, completely.
Okay.
Drupada Prabhu, thank you very much. You're most kind.
Nice answer, Prabhu. Thank you. Okay. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.